So it's good to see, because especially in a committee where we debate a lot, we argue a lot, we have different viewpoints on, quite frankly, just about everything, that we are on, by and large, all of us on the same page with this. It is heartening and it is good. FISA, the misuse of FISA, was truly, I believe, one of the low points of our republic. What happened, invading people's personal lives. If there's anything, and you all know this, you're smarter than me, historically, that this country, that this republic was supposed to stand for, was that individual freedom and individual rights, and not to have the government, because of political reasons or social reasons or religious, for any reason, invade our privacy, invade our family, invade our lives. So we had hearings, as you all know. We were all here. Most of us were here at the time. Really dug deep. I want to thank the chairman as well. He never gives up. We are going to get this done. We had hearings, and there was some disagreement, not so much within this, among us, but more the disagreement was with other committees and other individuals in Congress. So here's my question. This is what I want to get down to. We did legislation. It was an improvement. It was a compromise. That's all wonderful. We want to still do better. So if you could, and we'll start with Mr. Tolman, just go down the line relatively briefly. What has worked well? Where have we done a good job? And by the way, if you think we haven't done a good job anywhere, you can say that. Nobody's going to get mad. And where are we vulnerable? Where do we still have problems? Where do you worry at night that we are going to lose our precious freedom? Mr. Tolman.
The first thing that comes to mind that you did well is you won the public debate on this issue. It was, it used to be very siloed, limited voices that were shouting, this is a concern, and it's going to violate citizens' rights, and they're going to abuse it. And it was not believed, and the public was not aware. This body, and I give this House the credit, not the Senate, I give this body, this chairman, and others that turned the tide in the public debate on this and the awareness, and that, to me, is the battle. I would say the thing that keeps me up at night is this. I would like our FBI to get back to finding bank robbers and less intelligence gathering, and until that happens, we will always need robust guidelines to rein them in.
Thank you for the question. We've discussed earlier 4 specific reforms that I think all of us agree on that need to be made. One of those is fixing something that happened with RISA, which is the overexpansion of the definition of electronic service provider, which was expanded so much that it now includes many small businesses and even churches and other institutions, and that needs to be pared back and limited to its original purpose, which is to allow the FBI to reach data centers. So that's one important reform. We've also talked about closing the backdoor search loophole in FISA that allows the government to search Americans' information. They're some of their most private information without a warrant. We've also talked about closing the so-called data broker loophole, which allows government agencies to essentially buy their way around the Fourth Amendment just by buying data from data brokers. And then there's a real need still. There were some useful reforms made in RISA to oversight of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. But there's an additional important reform that we believe needs to be made, which is to expand the amicus program within that court, so that independent privacy experts are brought in sensitive cases to advise the court and act as kind of a counterweight to the FBI and the DOJ, who, when they try to seek warrants, to have somebody else in the room who has a responsibility for protecting Americans' privacy generally, to ensure that the FISA court does that. So,
thank you. I know between the two of you have 17 seconds. If you can really just
Sure, I'll be real brief. Second everything that's been said. I think that this is critical to continue the conversation because, as I mentioned in my opening statement, this is a crisis in faith in the government, in a key agency and agencies that are responsible for protecting us. And that's why if we get these reforms done, that can go a long way towards fixing that problem.
Thank you.
I think there were some helpful reforms in RISA. I think the main problem is it just didn't go far enough. It didn't go far enough because there wasn't a warrant requirement. There are a couple of places where RISA took some steps backwards. That includes the ECSP provision. It also includes a couple of provisions that actually weaken amici that we haven't talked about yet, and maybe we can talk about them later. But that's
In
my
plain vernacular, though, the FBI still needs a makeover. We can't give up on this. Chairman, I know I'm over just for a second. I love old mystery shows, and I was watching an old mystery, it dates back to the 1940s, and they're talking to the FBI and how they overreached and were punishing somebody because they disagreed with something they did. And I was sitting with a friend of mine, he said, God, that would never happen. I said, boy, are you wrong. That show was right, thank you. I yield back.